Looks like HearingLife is giving Costco a run for their money, but not in a good way. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona. And in this video, I'm taking a look at HearingLife and why so many patients that I see are not happy with their hearing aids. So every morning in my clinic, my staff gets together for what we call our morning huddle. This is a quick meeting that we have just to make sure that we're all on the same page and that nothing takes us by surprise throughout the course of the day. Our office manager, Brittany, always kicks things off with everything that we should know about new patients who are coming into our clinic for the first time. These initial visits consist of new patients with reported hearing difficulties, but they do not have hearing treatment yet, and we call these Applied 360 Discover consultations. But we also have new patients who come into the clinic who already have hearing aids, and we set these individuals up for what we call our Applied 360 Review consultations. The reason we separate out these existing hearing aid users into our Applied 360 Review consultations is because it takes us more time to figure out exactly what's going on with their treatment, why it's not working well, and what we would have to do to fix it. And just the other day, Brittany had mentioned that we're having an influx of these Applied 360 Review consultations, meaning that there's a lot of individuals who already have hearing aids who are not liking their performance and they're looking to us to fix it. So naturally, I asked where all of these patients were coming from, and to my surprise, she told me that they were coming from HearingLife. Now this is crazy because we literally created the Applied 360 Review consultation appointment type because of all the people who were disappointed with their Costco hearing aids. Now what she said next really took me by surprise because she said that lately we've been getting a lot more calls from individuals who are unhappy with their HearingLife hearing aids than we have individuals being upset with the performance of their Costco hearing aids. So naturally, I decided to take a deeper look at this massive chain of hearing aid clinics throughout the United States to see if I could figure out why so many of their patients were coming to me for a second opinion on their hearing treatment. But before I do me a huge favor, click the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It's greatly appreciated. And if you've ever gone to HearingLife for hearing treatment, let me know what your experience was like down in the comment section. Thanks for that, and let me share this quick little disclaimer with you. This video reflects my personal opinions and professional observations based on patients I have evaluated in my clinic. I do not have any access to HearingLife's internal policies or procedures, and I am not making claims about every HearingLife location or provider. Experiences may vary by location and clinician. My goal is to educate consumers about best practices in hearing care so they can make informed decisions. Now, to be clear, I do not have any insider information on HearingLife and what their process is for treating their patients with hearing aids. The information in this video is based off of what I have seen about this company online and from my experience working with so many of their patients in my clinic. To be honest, up until the other day when Brittany said this in our team meeting, I never really thought about HearingLife that much. Essentially, they're a corporate-owned chain of hearing aid clinics owned by a company called Demant. Now, you may not recognize the name Demant, but Demant is the parent company of the major hearing aid manufacturer Oticon. Demant is actually one of the largest hearing aid companies in the entire world, and the last time I checked, they come in second place only to Sonova, which is the parent company of Phonak. Of course, the fact that HearingLife is a bunch of corporate-owned stores could be the first reason why some people are just not happy with their experience. A joke that circulates among independent hearing aid clinic owners is that if you want to maximize the amount of money that you can get when you sell your hearing aid clinic, sell it to a hearing aid manufacturer. As long as you're okay with the manufacturer driving the clinic that you spent your entire life to build directly into the ground. Now, when you're an owner-operator and you sell your clinic to a hearing aid manufacturer, typically they keep you on for a little while. During that period of time, the quality of care probably stays pretty high. But as soon as the original owner who has built a successful hearing aid clinic departs and a new provider is brought in, all bets are off. If the person they bring in to replace the original provider does not have the training or expertise to provide a high level of care, then treatment success rates are definitely going to suffer. On top of that, if a once independent hearing aid clinic sells their clinic to a hearing aid manufacturer, what brand of hearing aids do you think that clinic is going to start selling? This is the second reason why I believe my clinic is starting to see more and more disgruntled HearingLife hearing aid users. Now, despite being owned by a company that owns a hearing aid manufacturer, HearingLife actually sells more than just one brand of hearing aids. But I cannot imagine that these alternative hearing aid brands are sold very often inside of HearingLife. If you just happen to look at the hearing aids on the HearingLife website, clearly all they have listed is Oticon devices. There is not even a single mention or feature breakdown of any other hearing aid brands on their website. Even when you go to the pricing page, the terminology they use, including 360-degree sound experience, tinnitus sound support, and brain hearing technology, are all Oticon terms. Even when they say that they work with top manufacturers and leading brands, the only brand they have listed is Oticon. You would think that HearingLife would at least make some kind of an attempt on their website to appear a little bit unbiased by at least putting smaller logos of the other brands that you dispense. Now, I would guess that if you ask the provider at HearingLife who recommends an Oticon hearing aid to you why they're recommending that hearing aid, they'll probably hit you with the line of, because it's the best hearing aid on the market. Now, to be fair, most hearing aid clinics will only dispense a few brands of hearing aids, either ones that they're most familiar with or the ones that they get better pricing on. But when the clinic is actually owned by a hearing aid manufacturer, which hearing aids do you think the providers are most incentivized to sell? Now, I don't know what the incentive structure is for HearingLife providers, but I would be shocked if there's not some additional incentive to dispense Oticon hearing aids. Now, just to be clear, this is not a knock against Oticon. I dispense Oticon hearing aids out of my clinic all of the time. They are one of the top 3 brands that I dispense on a regular basis. The problem comes into play when an individual is recommended an Oticon hearing aid when an Oticon hearing aid is not actually the best hearing aid option for that patient. Call me old-fashioned, but I believe that a hearing aid recommendation should be based on what's best for a patient, not what's best for a clinic or clinician. And if this is not what's happening at HearingLife, then it would definitely lead to more individuals being dissatisfied with their hearing treatment. But the third thing that I believe is an issue causing HearingLife hearing aid users to defect and try to find a different clinic is the lack of adherence to best practice audiologic care. Now, I'm sure that there are some clinicians inside of HearingLife locations that are adamant that they have to follow best practices when treating their patients with hearing aids. But based on programming that I've seen coming into my clinic on these hearing aids, I do not believe that Demant is mandating that HearingLife centers perform real ear measurement. How do I know? Because every single HearingLife patient who comes in with their Oticon hearing aids has those hearing aids set on first fit settings. First fit essentially means when you upload your audiogram into the manufacturer programming software and you hit the auto program button. Typically, the provider will ask you, how does that sound, or can you hear me now? This is a really simple example of what first fit programming looks like inside of the Oticon programming software. The solid red and blue lines indicate the amplification levels for average, loud, and soft level sounds. If these solid lines overlap with the dotted lines behind them, then you know the hearing aid was left on first fit settings. It is 100% guaranteed that if your hearing care professional only programs your hearing aids using first fit with maybe some minor adjustments to the programming, then there is no way that you're hearing your best with those hearing aids. Real ear measurement, on the other hand, is a form of verification that allows us to ensure that your hearing aids are programmed correctly to your hearing loss prescription. To perform real ear measurement, your provider must place probe microphone tubes inside of your ear canals along with your hearing aids, and then measure the amount of amplification you're receiving from your devices, followed by precise fine-tuning adjustments to match your prescriptive targets as closely as possible. If real ear measurement is not performed, then you will not be hearing your best with your hearing aids no matter how good your hearing aids are. This is what your hearing aid programming should look like with an Oticon hearing aid following real ear measurement to custom program your amplification levels. As you can see, the solid lines are nowhere even close to the dotted lines, which clearly indicates that real ear measurement was completed during the hearing aid fitting. Now, I am sure that there are at least some hearing care professionals inside of HearingLife locations that are adamant that they have to do real ear measurement for every single hearing aid fitting, because there is no way that you have over 600 locations and every single provider in all of them is unethical. But unfortunately, some definitely are. Now, real ear measurement is only one of many best practice procedures that must be completed by your hearing care professional to maximize the performance of your hearing aids. But let's face it, if they're not doing real ear measurement, there is no way that they're doing any of these other best practice procedures either. And if they're not, they're just sacrificing even more performance for their patients. And the fourth thing that I think might be contributing to some HearingLife patients wanting to leave HearingLife is the lack of personality for that company. Now, I'm not saying that the providers at HearingLife don't have any personality. I'm saying that just like the corporate entity doesn't have any personality. When you go to the website of an independent hearing clinic, you can usually look up information about when that clinic got started, who the clinicians are at that clinic, who the front office staff is at the clinic. You can see if they like long walks on the beach and if they have a dog. You can also see what's most important to the clinic owner, like the quality of care or options when it comes to hearing aid technology. When you go to a corporate website like HearingLife.com, you just see a whole lot of bland, generic generic stock photos and information that's completely irrelevant to you treating your hearing loss. Let me go ahead and show you HearingLife's website, and I've got to warn you, it has about as much character and personality as my dead house plant. You know, honestly, it kind of looks like a website that is more focused on attracting new clinicians to hire for their clinics or attracting clinic owners to sell their clinics to HearingLife. When you click on the Meet the Team tab, it has their corporate team, as if you as a patient care anything about the corporate structure of this particular company that will have zero influence on your overall treatment outcome. There's no mention about the commitment to quality of care or about best practices. It's all about the hearing aid technology and how that's being used in your treatment, and they really like to promote their risk-free trials, which in my opinion is a huge red flag if what you're really focused on is the quality of your hearing care. Now, I'm sure that you could nitpick my website as well, and I'm not really sure that their website has anything to do with people wanting to leave HearingLife and go to a different clinic. Now, I'm not really sure what happened to HearingLife over the past couple of years, but if whatever is going on over there keeps up and they keep having patients come over to my clinic, I'm going to have to expand my clinic location. But I want to hear from you. Do you think it's just a complete coincidence that recently I've had a ton of HearingLife patients come over to my clinic for a second opinion? Or do you think that HearingLife is starting to turn into Costco hearing centers where a lot of the patients they serve are dissatisfied with their care? Let me know down in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next video.